covering recruiting and the transfer portal for the Razorbacks. This is Inside Arkansas Recruiting with Dudley Dawson.
Welcome into the Inside Arkansas Recruiting Podcast, sponsored by Goat Lab Brewery. I'm your host, Dudley Dawson. Today, I want to talk a little bit about a lot of recruits that Arkansas is going to have on campus this weekend, and also some developments that have happened with in-state kids. Let's go to that first. Danny Beale, who is regarded as the top player in Arkansas in the 2026 class, has been committed to Oklahoma State. Obviously, they let go of Mike Gundy, their head coach. He thought it over for a while, and he's decided to decommit from the Cowboys. You look at this young man, 6'4", 315 pounds, absolute defensive monster, great kid as well. Someone I know that a lot of the schools would be happy to have. Certainly Arkansas will stay after him. He did visit Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Ole Miss, Missouri, and Mississippi State during his official visits before he made his decision about Oklahoma State. You hear a lot about Missouri and Ole Miss being two schools that he'll take a look at. Obviously, we'll see whether Bobby Petrino is elevated to the head coach at Arkansas, and or if somebody new comes in, and what happens at some of these other schools. A lot of other openings could happen between now and then. But it will be real interesting to see what that young man, who is, as I said, a quality football player that on the defensive line, you can never get enough of those in your program, no matter where you are. Also, as I said, just a quality young man that, would make the locker room better and, has the opportunity to play on Sundays. It's interesting, Arkansas still trying hard with their 2026 class. They've been out there recruiting, seeing a lot of kids, in addition to 2027 kids here the last few weeks as the transition has happened. You look at the other, really top kids in the state, or some of the top five. Bauxite's offensive lineman Evan Goodwin is committed to SMU, where Red Lashley is coach. Brian has several players committed, including T.J. Hodges, the running back, to Missouri, and Ja'Cory Smith, the linebacker, to Oklahoma. And then you've also got Anthony Kennedy at Little Rock Central, whose program is really turning itself around. He's committed to Miami. Those are some big-time schools that are in the, up at the top right now in terms of schools that are competing for to get into the college football playoff. We'll see how all those play themselves out and what could be going on there. I wanted to mention also that there is a football game on Friday night in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Bentonville, taking on Fayetteville, that would be of interest to anyone who wants to see a few Arkansas commitments and players that are going to be on the same field. Bentonville obviously has a couple of Arkansas commits and wide receivers, DeQuan Parvo and Blair Irvin Jr., two kids who have had outstanding seasons for Bentonville, who's undefeated and obviously shown that they're, a state title contender and maybe the favorite at this point, along with Bryant. We'll see how things go as the season goes along. Also, you've got an Arkansas commit in safety Kendrick Williams, who is someone that has certainly shown his talent out on the field this season, as he did last year, and in rounding up several offers. Interesting, Brody Jones, the other safety, is committed to Missouri, one of three kids that in the state that Missouri has gotten a commitment from, looking to get some more. And then you've got a couple of juniors on Fayetteville's team. Will Caston, a linebacker, someone who is the prototypical guy that you look for in terms of measurables and all that. Comes from a great lineage with his dad, Marvin Caston, who played at Arkansas and is in the administration at Arkansas right now. And then quarterback Hank Hendricks, who is an interesting story. A lot of talk out there about how Bobby Petrino, Arkansas's head coach, is really excited about that young man. He's viewed as really the top 2027 prospect in Arkansas. And someone that moved in from Bourne, Texas. His dad, Shay Hendricks, is on Bobby Petrino's staff right now. He came in as an analyst and now is someone who's coaching the defensive backs. That'll be a story that we'll be watching as things go along. He's getting a lot of recruiting attention, as well he should. He's had a really good season. Fayetteville has lost a couple of games, but the Fayetteville-Bentonville rivalry always is a really good football game, and looking forward to seeing that game and how those two teams match up this year. on Friday night at Fayetteville. One other thing I wanted to get into before we talk about some of the recruits that will be visiting this weekend, there was another change in the transfer portal situation this week in that you now can only get into the portal. If your coach is fired from this point on, you can only get in the portal January 2nd through January 15th. That's a modification of what was going on when you could just go ahead and get in the portal in the December period. Obviously they've now moved to January. So that's, if your coach is fired from this point on, then January 2nd will be when you can get into the portal. Now, that being said, I'm sure there are a lot of schools, a lot of players, a lot of uncles, a lot of agents, a lot of lawyers which is the parlance that we have to speak of in college football landscape these days, who will be out there making deals, doing, talking, but officially they won't be able to do that. Now, that does not pertain to Arkansas until after October 29th. And the reason that is they were grandfathered in one of the four schools that had this taken care of. They're, moving on to a new coach before the rule was modified. Arkansas's players can get into the transfer portal up until November 29th, as I said, 30 days after the first day after Coach Pittman was let go and Bobby Petrino was elevated. No one, as we know, officially has gotten into the portal. Really, Arkansas, when this happened, had already played 5 games, so redshirting was not really one of those things, because you can play in 4 games in a bowl game these days and still be able to redshirt. But they had already played in 5 for Arkansas, so that kind of it played itself out. So what we're looking at here, whether it's Bobby Petrino or whether a new coach coming in after the season or even late in the season, you're going to have some kids, I'm sure, that will be making some decisions, deciding where they need to go, what they want to do in terms of their future. And we all know that, NIL deals are certainly a part of that now, as is rev share and everything that goes along with the college football landscape this year now. When you break down Arkansas's team, it's going to be very important for them to be able to go after some of these high school kids that we've been talking about, the top players in the state. Many that, I think there's 6 that's committed to Arkansas out of about 30 that have Division I scholarships from schools that are of that 136, foot schools that play in the championship series. That is a lot of scholarships out there. We always talk about Arkansas usually only had 8 to 10 scholarship athletes, or, that's kind of been the norm. I think football in Arkansas is getting better. Obviously, the opportunity for other schools to come in here has helped elevate the amount of players getting scholarships. And again, I'll reiterate that it's so important for Arkansas to handle their business in terms of the 2026 class, and especially the 2027 class, which, they have the opportunity with Bradley Sturdivant, the Sheridan offensive lineman, being a commit right now, someone that they can build that class around. You're going to have to really get on the 2027 class right now, regardless of the uncertainty there is at the head coaching position right now. We always like taking time to thank our sponsor, Bill and Rhonda Adams and Goat Lab Brewery, with the locations at 1214 North Garland in Fayetteville and 808 Bloomington in Lowell. 2 great places, including the one in Fayetteville that has been seeing some extremely large crowds the past few weeks. Inside Arkansas's cast has been there a couple of times. Really good watch party last Saturday for the Tennessee game, and will be at a perfect time, 2:30. So you have the opportunity to go and get lunch before you go to the game. You can watch the game. A lot of big TVs there at, as we said, at 1214 North Garland. Also, the opportunity to come after the game. I think they're open till 10 or 11. As we said, they've had really big crowds lately, and are really doing a good job in becoming the spot before and after games for Razorback fans to celebrate. And again, that 2:30 game is just excellent in terms of what Arkansas wants to be able to Arkansas fans want to be able to do to go do something before and after the game. Again, the opportunity to have a 2:30 game really allows Arkansas to get a lot of kids in here on unofficial visits. The 11 a.m. game with Notre Dame was really tough, and getting some of the out-of-state kids and even some of the in-state kids that have to drive a long way. 2:30 is a much better time. Obviously, the Auburn game next weekend is an 11 when we'll find out the Mississippi State time, I believe, early Monday. But this is a wonderful opportunity for Arkansas to get some more recruits up here at this time, whether they be in state or out of state. Wanted to highlight a couple of kids that we know are going to be here. Jeremiah Dent is a running back from Marion, Arkansas. Ole Miss and other schools are on him. He's a 2027 guy. Is kind of looked on as the best running back in that 2027 class. You'll see him here. You'll see all of the Fayetteville kids and Bentonville kids that I mentioned. Kendrick Williams, and Blair Irvin, and all those guys that are able close by and able to be here, still committed to Arkansas. So that's a wonderful opportunity for them to get there. Also, I'm sure we'll see Tay Lockett, who's kind of developing into a leader in that 2026 class, which obviously was devastated by the uncertainty with the Arkansas coaching thing with Coach Pittman and the three defensive assistants being let go. You're also going to have Connor Rutherford, an offensive lineman from Chillicothe, Ohio. He is a big young man in that 2027 class as well. Arkansas has continued to go out and push the issue on the 2027 kids as they try to get a push into that class as well, where you're still trying to do things with the 2026 class. Another guy that in the 2027 class that will be here this weekend, Deontay Seals. He's being recruited by actually the Arkansas special teams coordinator, Scott Fountain, who has that area of Alabama. He's from Hewitt-Trussville, a school that's had a lot of success down there in Alabama football circles, and someone that Arkansas is really, excited about getting here. You're also going to have a lot of other kids. We mentioned that, I think the Arkansas had 45 or so right under 50 for the Notre Dame game in terms of unofficial visitors. You're probably going to have in between 50 and 60 because of the time that they have here this Saturday. And I think we all know that these three games coming up, these three home games, give Arkansas the opportunity. You usually play better at home in front of your crowd. Gives Arkansas the opportunity to not only try to turn this season around with some wins, but also give the kids the opportunity to see what Arkansas has to offer, even in the situation that you have with the uncertainty with the head coaching. It should be a real interesting game this Saturday. Texas A&M is arguably one of, if not the best team in the conference, and you're going to continue to see games every week down the stretch, although Auburn and Mississippi State are teams that are in different situations than a lot of the ones on Arkansas' schedule. So there will be an opportunity there, or at least a pathway to get some wins, which we all know will be important as Bobby Petrino tries to get the full-time job. I do want to give those guys credit. As I said, they are getting out these past few weekends and being able to see a lot of kids, let them know they're still interested. I've been very critical of them not getting a lot of kids in Arkansas these last few years. Eli Drinkowitz from Missouri and Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss and a lot of other schools have been coming in here and getting them. It's going to be very important once the certainty is there that you start establishing that as a means to reviving your program by doing it with home state kids. Again, we'll keep you up to date as developments go on and the amount of kids that are coming in this weekend, get some thoughts from them and their coaches on, how things are going with Arkansas and just see how Arkansas plays itself out. Again, I really appreciate everyone watching and listening to the Inside Arkansas Recruiting Podcast presented by Goat Lab Brewery, and as well as all the other great content we have here on Inside Arkansas. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, Inside Arkansas on YouTube, and also the audio version of wherever you get your podcast. I'm Dudley Dawson. We'll see you next time pretty soon. But remember, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. Let's go out and make the world a better place.